What's up, y'all? And welcome to the extra episode of the Microtransaction. I'm your host, Chris, and today I am joined for the first time ever. Liquid, how you doing today?
Man, I am great. It feels good to be here. It's so strange because like when we start doing the extra episodes, remotely, it feels a little weird because we're usually doing stuff together in the room, whatnot, but hey, we're still making it happen, right? We're still making it work. We're still doing the damn thing. Yeah. How about yourself?
I'm good, baby. I like right now as of recording, it's HCS weekend. I'm watching high tier Halo, having a good old time, maxing and relaxing. Your boy got himself a smoothie today.
Oh, what kind? What flavor are we talking?
I always go to a Peanut Plus.
Okay.
I love it.
It's good protein.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's good. But I'm like, man, I need to chill out on it because I love like. The thing is, I drink everything super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's terrible. That means alcohol. That means water. That means everything. I drink fast.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, with a smoothie, I'm like, oh, I could just go nuts because there's just, and then before I know it, it's gone. Like, there was a guy at work I was training, and I was like, I'm gonna get me a smoothie. And he pulled over, got me one, and he's like, oh man. And he's like, are you gonna hold that the whole time? I'm like, don't worry, I'll be done fast enough. And sure enough, I killed it. He was like, holy shit. I was like, yeah.
Wow.
I'm like, your boy knows how to suck.
Yeah. the quick consumer himself.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a weird thing. It's like I don't know why. I know why, but I just don't like. I eat fast, but I drink faster.
That's wild, dude. I've never heard anybody say that. Like, yo, I drink super fast. Like, there's one thing you need to know about me is that I drink super fast.
I didn't come to terms to it, so I realized I'm like until like me and Andres patron.
Yeah, what's up, Andres?
It's just out here we're drinking smoothies and I'm killing mine and he's drinking at it too. And he's like, God damn, motherfucker. And I was like, whoa, maybe I got a problem. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, man, that's so weird. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Like me personally, like I feel like I eat slow. Like
you eat weird. I can attest to that much.
I don't know, bro. The polls are out, man. It seemed like a 50-50.
I don't know. How many of those people actually ate with you though?
Oh, I don't know. I can't
right,
I lost count.
Yeah. You see what I'm
saying? I lose count after 0.
Yeah. After 0? I'm like, oh, okay. What's after 0? Is it 0.1?
Yeah, there you go. 0 plus.
Anyway. To the topic at hand today, guys, we gotta talk about what's going on in the world. We're handling Ukraine. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
We're not gonna talk about Ukraine. Jesus, just know for that, 2 people just yelling at each other a bunch. Yeah. All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But something else that's going on in the world is our boy Joe Rogan. Now, Liquid, for the people that don't know, what's your experience with Joe?
Okay. So it's been a little all over the place. Like for the most part, I've never watched a full show of the Joe Rogan Experience. All I know is that he gets people on there. He tells Jamie to pull something up a lot of the times.
Jamie's the man.
Yeah. So Jamie apparently kills it there. That's kind of it in a nutshell. Like I just watched more clips than anything, not like the full like I said, never seen a full episode, but it's just mostly clips. That's usually what I like. All I've known for, and some of it's good. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with everything, but there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I could see that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think some of it's insightful. I feel like it's changed over the years, though. I found myself enjoying it a lot more previously, and then it seems like it. I don't know if the show is just something like if they decided like to divert it a different way. But yeah, it seems like it doesn't seem as interesting as it used to be, for example, is what I'm trying to get at.
You see, well, for the people that don't know, everyone knows everyone knows what the Joe Rogan podcast is.
Yeah, he's the most popular podcast or something like that, right?
It is the most, I think it is the most watched piece of entertainment by one group of people at a time.
Okay.
Like consistently. I saw a thing just to give you context to how big Joe Rogan is, Liquid, is that average news cycles like Fox, MSNBC, all of them gather around 1 million to like 3 million people watching consistently.
That's like an average.
Joe
Okay.
Rogan has the average of 11 million people watching him.
Holy shit! Almost 4 times. Like,
yes.
Wow.
Joe Rogan is bigger than any network. Period.
That's crazy, dude.
By leaps and bounds. And it's funny, people only really started to take notice because before he he wanted Bernie Sanders to win. He didn't want to say who he wanted to vote because he felt like it could actually swing voters. I mean, and people are like, "You're up your ass," and then people started looking at numbers like, "No, he's not up his ass."
So I mean, at least that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, first of all, it's when it comes to voting, it's whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? If you want to say who you vote for, if you want to say, that's your choice. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You know, that's it. But yeah, like I think that's responsible to do. Mm-hmm. If you're, you know, hey, if you feel like you have that much of an influence that you feel like, hey, I gotta watch out for this kind of thing, then yeah, I think that's cool. That's pretty cool of a person.
He eventually like went Bernie, but like he's like, I'm going for Bernie because I like the guy. He had him on the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And like really talked to him, and it was awesome because like no politician ever is like, hey, sit with me for an hour, ask me anything. Mm-hmm. So it was real interesting.
Oh.
But that's not why we're talking about Joe Rogan now. A couple clips have been coming up on the internet where homie has been saying some wild things throughout his career.
Okay.
All right. Using a couple N-words.
Okay.
And stuff like that. And have you seen the clip that everyone's talking about, Liquid?
I believe so. I'm gonna say the apes clip, right? Is that what you're talking about, or no?
No, well, that's one of them.
I saw that one. That when he talked about Planet of the Apes. That's all. I saw that one. And I'm like,
that's the main one.
I did see that one. I was like, whoa, holy, like, wow.
But the thing is, the reason why I brought up earlier that the 11 million is that clip was brought up like 8 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could have sworn I saw that a long time ago as well. It's so funny because like I see it now, I'm just like I'm like, oh man, I totally forgot about it. And it's still kind of like I'm like, ooh man, it's still cringy. Like
he has the full like they put out the full thing. And is basically talking like I don't know why he used that analogy. I think he was very wrong for using the analogy. But when he's trying to explain the whole story, he's explaining like he went to like a black theater to watch a movie, like where it was predominantly black people in the area.
Right.
And he said he was having the best time.
Okay.
But it's cut up this way. And the thing is, Joe Rogan has been in the news cycle for the last couple of months. Because of the anti-vaxxer thing, like the misinformation that he's kind of putting out, and stuff like that.
You see, it's so funny because you give someone props about doing the responsible thing when talking about voting, but then when it comes to providing misinformation, like you're kind of like, well, no longer a responsible thing to do anymore. Like. But anyways, carry on. I'm sorry.
The thing is that the shit that you were talking about earlier with Joe Rogan really has to do because he was in California, then he moved to Texas.
Oh.
And ever since the Texan, he started other people have had the sentiment too, where it started like being a little more like vaccinations. This is what's going on. I don't know how I feel about this. But he'll bring like scientists and professionals in the field who personally know like Fauci.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
And he's been checked on his own show.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah. And like the thing is, Joe Rogan is just like he's like, I'm just a dude talking to people I deem interesting.
Okay.
All right. And sometimes, you know, I'm sure, Liquid, because, you know, obviously we're on YouTube too. Like, there might be things that we say now that we think is like okay, then years from now we're proven wrong.
Sure.
You know, and it's just like I with that being said, like, do you feel like like when, like if he admits, because he's make public announcements and like, hey, I didn't like that I said it that way, that was terrible, stuff like that. Like, do you forgive that person, or do you just like, ooh, dude, you know, like, are you shitty? Like, how do you feel about like canceling someone?
I gotcha. Well, I know for a fact, if you're averaging 11 million views, you said 11 million, right? Is that what you said? The chances of you getting canceled is extremely slim.
Oh no, he's uncancelable.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say. Okay, I just want to make sure we get that out the way. Like, yes, I feel that way. Like once you mentioned, I'm like, oh, okay, well then, because I've heard everybody talking about how they they want him canceled or whatnot. You're not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Like, it's just not gonna happen. Like even if because he has to deal with Spotify, right? Oh, hold on, I got a little focus in here. Come on, fix little bitch.
There we go. Fine.
So even if Spotify drops him, because I know he's got the contract with Spotify, he'll be all right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only thing he's gonna get now is he's gonna get the money up front and not have to do any more shows for Spotify, essentially, right?
Yeah.
So if anything, he comes out
run Spotify ads before his podcast.
Yeah, and like now, so if anything, he comes out winning because he got all the money, doesn't have to fucking like do anything for them anymore, and still does his own show on the side, make all that. So yeah. He'll be fine. He's not gonna get canceled. Now, as far as forgiving, though, we're talking. Let's go back to the forgiving part.
Like you as a person, like you individually living your everyday life. Obviously, how you feel about Joe Rogan doesn't affect Joe Rogan,
right?
But like, how would you, even not someone as big or what's someone smaller that you like? That's the Joe Rogan. Let's use that person as an example.
Someone smaller that I like, that I enjoy.
Yeah,
watching?
What's somebody that you're a fan of?
Well, I think I'll give a perfect example probably to even like, how about like, for example, like Colin Moriarty, he was canceled, right? And I enjoy his content. I enjoy some of the stuff he says. You know what I'm saying? Again, same situation. I don't agree with every single thing. I think you have to be you don't think for yourself if you agree with everything somebody else thinks. You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say an idiot.
Yeah, sure. There you go. But so if you're just gonna follow that train, then yeah, you're not even a real person at that point. Like you're just like, come on, because there's nothing that makes you different at that. Where are your thoughts? Where are your opinions? Where are your ideas? Now, so yeah. So the thing is that like, I mean, compared to what I've seen with Joe Rogan has said, I don't think it's as bad. Like Joe Rogan seems to be it's like pretty bad, I guess. Now, would I forgive? I want to say yes, and the only reason why, all right, is because as when I was younger, or several years ago, I'd say 5 years ago, even as early as 5 years ago, there's mistakes I'm sure I've made, things that I've said, things that I've done that I regret or wish I could change or taken it back. Don't get me wrong. At the time, probably felt it was right. At the time, it felt fun or like to do. And it's just like, regardless of like who it was offending, what is it about, or like, it's just. But I know I've grown as a person. I know I've changed as an individual. So I would hope that someone would forgive me. Yeah. Right. So I say, yeah, I would be willing to forgive, but that's just because if the shoe was on the other foot, I would like the same for me.
Yeah. My only line in the sand is unless you're messing with kids or you like sexually abuse somebody.
Sure. I think those are pretty good. Pretty good line in the sand. I think it's pretty strong.
Yeah. I'm like, when someone kills someone, like, it's just like, was it in self-defense? Was it an accident? What happened?
Right.
And I know that's crazy, but that's how I see it. Like, you know what I mean? It's like the with the actor who accidentally shot the director person and killed him.
I have no idea.
Is it Alec Baldwin? There was a situation where there was a gun. He shot the gun and it accidentally was loaded with a real bullet and killed the director.
Oh wow! But it was but they believed it was a prop. Like it was, you know what I'm saying? Like
he thought there was no real because a lot of the guns, they use like a real weapon.
Yeah, it looks real. Probably feels real.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
That's wild.
So but you know what I'm saying? It's not like I'm like fuck Baldwin, like this motherfucker. I'm like, whoa, it was an accident. It was a terrible, tragic accident.
Like whatever happened? Like Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, he got shot on set, didn't he? when he was doing
what happened to
when
him.
he was doing The Crow years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is like in the 90s.
And I don't think anybody got in trouble for it because I think it was an error on set.
I think it was like a freak accident.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, like you said, it's one of those. Yeah, I got a perfect example, dude. I have an uncle, right? An uncle lives in Philly. I want to say now. Well, not anymore. He passed away now. But the whole thing is that he found out his daughter was domestic violence. His daughter was in an abusive relationship, and he took off, stabbed the dude multiple times, killed the dude, and it's just like, if someone was putting their hands on my daughter, would I act any differently? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like, I'm just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I get the man's dead now, and that sucks and all, but I mean, could someone could a father of a daughter, you know what I'm saying, a little girl or whatever the hell, you know, or just feel like they could sit back and be like, oh yeah, my daughter just got her ass beat, and I'm just gonna let the cops handle it. You know what I'm saying? No, he drove over there, or I think the dude, he called him over for something. The dude thought everything was cool and fine, and just stabbed the dude like right on his doorstep or some shit like that. It was, it was wild, dude. It was wild.
That's cold blooded. Yeah, I'll come over, and I was like, I'm gonna go kill him.
Yep.
That's crazy. When you think about the mindset, you have to be seeing right. Like, I'm gonna go kill this.
Right.
Like, as soon as I see him, step.
Because there's even times where like I'll think of something like terrible, right? But then let's say when I'm like, oh, you know, I'm thinking of like some of the worst stuff, and then I'll go see an individual that person. By the time I got from point A to point B, I've thought about, you know, several things. Maybe my mind has changed. I'm not as mad as I used to be. You know what I'm saying? But for you for someone to come over and then you stab them, like, I'm like, holy crap! Like, man, you were seeing red for a long time. But again, it's like, that's your daughter though. It's just like, again, I don't know if I'd do anything different. But yeah, that's
I
tough.
think about it. My nieces and nephews, if I ever heard something wild like that, like now that they're actual like people,
right?
You know what I mean? And I know that's a weird thing to say because obviously they're always.
No, you're just seeing them develop their little personalities and stuff like that. Yeah.
Like and I'm like, and I hear like, oh, he hit me, but he didn't mean to. He was drunk, and I'm like, so am I. You know what I'm saying?
Like, oh, he was drunk. Well, damn, too bad I took a shot of Jack Daniels. I'm on my way over.
I took one sip of White Claw. I'm wasted. Step.
I'm all murder wasted. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go on a spree. Oh my god, that's terrible. Bro, that's so terrible. That is terrible. My god.
But like, you know what is a thing too? It's like the situation where the American gymnastic team, like, you know, all the women, and there was a doctor and he was sexually assaulting the women.
Oh my god.
The girls, the little girls. And the dad was like, he asked the judge, can I get 5 minutes alone with him? And the judge's like, no, I can't do that. He's like, then I'm gonna take it now. And he sprinted in the courtroom.
Hey, dude, the fact that man asked permission first, because he could have easily just sprinted. He knew that judge wasn't going to allow it to happen, obviously. But the fact that he was like, you know, oh yeah, hey, can I get 5 minutes? No.
Yep, and took it. And I remember him being like, damn, why'd y'all stop him? Like, let him get one hit in, and then like take him.
Yeah. Yeah, like if you're like a cop, like the bailiff, you're just like. Okay, now I'll grab him after he gets a few licks in.
He's like, I gotta tie my shoe. Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm on my phone. I got a text message.
Oh, Mom?
Yeah. Like, oh, I've suddenly gone blind for 5 seconds.
Oh god. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, but like circling back to the Joe Rogan situation, it's just. The thing is he has this misinformation, but the thing is, it's a constant conversation that we're having with COVID and stuff like that. That is a real thing that is happening in real time. What was deemed crazy at the beginning doesn't seem so crazy now. If we're going to look like, you know, the whole thing like, oh, it was made in the lab, and we're like, sure, it was made in the lab. And then we start looking into it more, I'm like, oh shit, it might be in the lab. And like stuff like that. And like, oh, these kind of masks really don't help. Nah, actually the masks do help. Because remember, Fauci was like, that's because we didn't have enough, and the people who needed them the most didn't have them.
I gotcha. Right.
And stuff like that. It's just, But that's a whole smorgasbord. Obviously, it's more nuanced, just in case you're freaking out. And if you're a Patreon listener and you're freaking out, thank you for freaking out and giving us $1.
Much appreciated.
Much appreciated. But the thing is, with the whole like clips that are being set out with Joe Rogan, I think because he's so big, I think it's a hit piece.
Really? Like someone's trying to just knock him down?
I think someone's trying to take him down because he's too big to fail now.
Yeah.
And they're basically giving N-word accusations and like COVID stuff people lose their mind over. And he is like he's still fine.
Right. Yeah, I mean he's not gonna go anywhere. Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah, like it just seems too like, and I know it's shitty, and maybe it's my cynical part of my brain. I'm like, wow, you brought up all this stuff during Black History Month. Like we're not even gonna pretend like that's happening, right?
Right. I didn't even think about that. I didn't put two and two together.
Like let's take us like if you take a step back, like there's a lot of things that you're saying right now,
right,
that are happening. Right now.
This hit piece, is this just your opinion or is this something you've even seen online?
I don't know. This is because when we were talking about the topic and I was like, man, and then I was watching stuff like, it's Black History Month. I was like, man, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like they keep, and the thing is, it's like every 2 months there's another Joe Rogan thing that happens. They're always going after him. And I'm like, somebody doesn't like someone with money and influence.
Yeah.
Or people with an agenda is trying to take Joe Rogan down.
Which is
it's happening too much, too consistently, not to like notice a pattern.
Right. No, I get what you're saying, and yeah, but the thing is, like, because this is how I feel. Let's say I didn't like the man, right? Let's say I couldn't stand his guts, right? And I'm trying to find ways to take him out. If I find out like 11 million views or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, as far as an audience and just how big the contract from Spotify and just everything. When you layer everything on, I would have gave up before I started. I would never. I'm like, listen, do you know what's the best thing you could do? If you ignore it, just shut the fuck up, leave it alone. Like the thing is that you're trying to cancel it so much that it's gotten to a point. Like we would have probably never ever brought up Joe Rogan on our show, on our stuff here, had this not been happening. Now we're giving it attention. Like, so it's just like you're just doing nothing but feeding the beast is how I see it as. You know what I'm saying? You're just like, if you're against it that bad, dude, just leave it alone. Drop it. Pretend it doesn't exist. Ignore it. Like that's kind of like what you have to do. That's
and I know this is gonna come across, but it's probably the smartest thing, and this is gonna sound crazy when I say it. It's the smartest thing I ever heard Jake Paul say.
Oh my!
He's like, you can love me. You can hate me, but if you're talking about it, I'm only getting more exposure.
No, I mean, that's 100% correct. That's 100% right.
But he's like, I'm making it where you can't ignore me. Right. And I'm like, this son of a bitch. Like, he gets it.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, dude. It's the same mentality with, like, you've heard speak with your wallet. You've heard speak, you know what I'm saying? Just ignore it. Pretend, like, you know what I'm saying? The more you pay attention to it, the more it's going to consume your life. The more you pay attention to it, the more you're going to hear about it. Like, we live in a social media world. If you think, you know what I'm saying? If you're looking this stuff up and if you're fighting about it, your social media is going to be filled with it. It's just going to give you nothing but that. You know what I'm saying? Like my TikTok, I can't stand this person, and I start Googling this person, why I can't stand them. Suddenly I'm getting TikToks as far as why I like this person. And I'm just like, wait, what? No, I don't like this person. So it's just like, oh man. So it's just like, you're just helping the algorithm, it's working against you now at that point. Everything's working against you. Essentially, you're working against you. Like you're just, so,
you're your own worst enemy. That meme with the guns behind you.
Yeah, dude. Like, oh man, people just don't get it, dude. Like, just like, yo, like some things are just like, you gotta let it go. Some things just like, leave it alone. Like,
and I was an avid because like some of Joe Rogan's content, like through Joe Rogan's podcast, I met some of the most interesting people that I still personally follow, like Jocko Willink and like Neil deGrasse Tyson. I really didn't know. Like I heard the name, but I didn't know who he was.
Oh, even the other dude with the book, the bald dude,
what's his I'm forgetting his name too. Like Like it's basically I forgot his name, man. I'm blanking on his name. It's pissing me off right now. Oh my god. Anyway,
we'll carry on.
Yeah. But like he has a great show, and I was an avid like watcher of the Joe Rogan podcast. I love him. Like, who is this person? I don't know, but if he's interesting enough to be on this podcast, then he's interesting enough for me to listen to.
Right.
And I remember because there was just a paleontologist on there talking, and like he was bringing up because there's a big thing where dinosaurs aren't real.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they brought one to a paleontologist, and you just see the rage on this man's face. He's like, and they're bringing up the videos. They're like, oh, so what about what he's saying right now? And he's like, let me explain to you what. And I'm like, oh, that's
wild, dude. That's so funny. Like you mentioned paleontologist, and I think of Ross from Friends. But
I know that's how I know the word.
Yeah, me too, dude. Oh my god, that's the other one. By the way, David Coggins is the guy we were thinking of.
David Coggins, yeah. Bro, sometimes when I'm feeling like a bitch, I need to hear him just say like, "Hey, don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
You're listening to your inner bitch." I think he messaged Joe Rogan. He's like, "I know your birthday. You want to relax. You want to eat this cake. That's when you give an excuse for your inner bitch to talking. Go get the work done. All right, stay hard." I'm like, damn, bro. Like, you're like. When it comes to David Goggins, and one of these days, like, because you read the book and I've read the book, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we need to talk about that one of these days.
Maybe we'll make that an extra episode one day.
Yeah, we do a little book report, so we seem a little knowledgeable.
Hey, there we go. Just show our noggins off. Yeah.
Show our noggins for Goggins. Anyway, yeah, that works out.
That'll be the title of that episode. Hey, you just came up with the title.
Hey, anyway, you saw how YouTube's created, boys and girls.
Hey, there it is. It's all an accident. Every week that you've been seeing us, it's just been double or nothing.
Yep, Julie's just been falling upon success. Good job. It's funny because it's a lot of work. Anyway, but yeah, but just like interesting people that he's had on the channel, and like I used to watch it, but then like I said, he made the move to Texas, and I feel like he was leaning a little too right and stuff like that. Like for me, he's saying some wild shit. I'm like, yo, bro, that's not true. What are you talking about?
I got you.
And then, but the thing is, he like almost hears the backlash in like his stuff, and then he'll have people to counterbalance him. Like, yo, then talk to me, educate me about it. Then you're like, I can't hate this guy.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm like, not a lot of people can just, it's like essentially interview themselves. Like people let your echo chamber just talk to you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, he doesn't do that. Like I said, he said Bernie Sanders is probably the most left dude there's ever been.
Yeah,
left.
Exactly.
And like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't like say he's just this, because then you got to look at the context, and that's something else that happens that I feel like is a big problem. Is context is now lost. Like someone could say something crazy, but what were they talking about? What was the situation?
Right.
And I feel like that shit gets gone, dude.
No, yeah, context is almost everything. Like you need to know context for a lot of things, like to know how something went down. You know what I'm saying? There's so many times where like something looks terrible, looks bad, only because of that lack of context. So yeah, no, I agree with you 100%.
Even when you're talking about like your uncle, he was like, "Oh, some dude stabbed somebody to death at his front door."
Yeah,
you're like, "Damn, dude, why?" He's like, "Actually, that dude was beating up his daughter." Oh, I get it. And you're like, "Wow!"
Suddenly, that mind just changed. Context.
Yeah. Maybe it's us because maybe we just think our brains are like we think in absolutes.
Yeah.
I don't know. How much time do we have left, Liquid? I forgot to turn on the.
We're about we're coming up at the end. We're at 29 minutes in about.
Okay, I want to bring up one quick thing before we go. I want to know, have you ever had like a quote unquote a guy friend or a guy you've known for like a day or two or three that you've worked with in close thing and not known his name?
And actually, yes. Several times.
Yeah. I found this TikTok where the girl was like in shock, like, wait, because they were training somebody, and he's like, I'll let them pair up. He's like, oh, he's a cool dude, man. I forgot my lunch, and he gave me a piece of his tuna pack and a piece of his banana. Like, he's a real cool dude. What's his name? He's like, I don't know. the taller guy,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And I'm like, it reminds me that I was training a dude for a whole week.
Wow.
Still didn't know his name.
Like, oh, today, Chris, you'll be training. You hear like the peanuts fucking like the grown sucking.
And I'm like, man, I know he has a super common name. And my boss is looking at me like, why don't you know? I'm like, I don't care, really.
Did your boss know at least? Like,
my boss knew who it was.
Okay.
Like, she was just like, she's like, you've been with him for legit 40 hours.
Damn.
And you don't know his name. Like,
so wait, you've been with, so essentially 40 weeks. We're talking about a work week is what you've been with this man.
Week. I was training him.
God damn, dude. I don't think I've ever lasted that long. Usually a day or two, but my God, a work week, Chris, get that together, dude.
I'm real bad with that shit too, because people be like, hey, like Ivan will bring up somebody at work, like, you know, like this happened with and I'm like, who the hell is that?
Oh my God,
like,
dude.
They're like, yo, him. I'm like, man, bro, people get salty too because they see it happen in real time. Like, damn, Chris. I'm like, y'all my work friends.
Yeah, no. Hey, that's a real thing. That's a real thing. 100%.
Yeah, that's a whole other topic for another day. Anyway, Liquid, any closing thoughts on the Joe Rogan experience?
No closing thoughts. Context is key. The man will not be canceled. He can't be canceled. And love each other. Take care. But above all else, be cool.
We'll see you next week, boys and girls.